Doug and Pay back on another video. So we have this woman, her and her husband got married, they had 2 kids, but he had a brain aneurysm at his electrical engineering job, and she divorced him because she said that he became a different person. So she left him and took his 2 kids after his brain aneurysm. She made this video here to plead her case. We're going to watch the video and then read this article. But before I do that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. It shows you support me and what I'm doing over here. Let's see what's going on with this awful woman.
Looking back, I could never have imagined what our life would become. I know that I know that I know that if my husband had been able to see how our life would turn out, he would have said, no way. No way I'm letting our kids grow up like this. No way I'm letting you take this on, honey. You let
Oh, the cope, dude. That's so messed up. This is awful. So she's trying to say that, if it were the old version of her husband, he would never want us to go through this.
me go. Remember when I said that love is not a feeling, it's an action? I started to wonder if the most loving thing that I could do for him was to let him go into
If the most loving thing I can do for him after a brain aneurysm is to let him go.
a better situation where he's finally getting the care that he deserves, loving and honoring him till death do us part. Does it mean rings on our fingers and being together even though it's not what's best for us? Or does it mean sending him into the best life possible and being lifelong friends?
What an awful person. And if this were a man that had done that to his wife, he would have been hung out to dry. He would have been crucified. But that double standard, guys. Says an Ohio woman has been labeled self-centered after divorcing her husband because she felt his brain aneurysm turned him into a different person. People say I abandoned him, deserted him when he needed us most. Kim Bayer, 39, told Kennedy News of breaking off her marriage of 10 years. People online are pretty mean. The mother of Shu had reportedly met her husband, Matthias, 43, in 2004, while the then German exchange student was studying abroad in the U.S. They wed the following year and embarked on what Bayer described as a very happy relationship. Matthias was very bubbly, optimistic, a very warm-hearted person, and everyone loved him, recalled the Columbus resident. I fell in love with him because he was kind, honest, and had a lot of integrity. So that's them right there. Aww. She added that their marriage worked well because both parties were really invested and committed. All was going swimmingly until 2015 when Matthias suffered a nearly fatal brain aneurysm, a bulging blood vessel in the brain, while at his electrical engineering job. The imperiled fellow was subsequently rushed to the hospital where surgeons had to remove part of the patient's skull because his brain wouldn't fit inside his head. Despite their best efforts, Matthias went into a coma for 10 days, with doctors fearing that the German would not pull through. Then, just when they were about to shut off his life support machine, Matthias started to show signs of life. I wonder how quick she was to want to pull the plug. I was so excited when he woke up. We were thrilled, exclaimed Bayer of the miraculous event. However, her joy soon fizzled after she noticed that her husband seemed to have undergone a drastic personality change following the ordeal. He was here, but not really, Bayer lamented. Physically here, but staring through and not aware of his surroundings. She added that it had been years since they last had a real conversation. When he was present, Matthias would fixate on insignificant problems like a dirty rug and ignore the more important things the couple needed to attend to, she said. The one silver lining was that her husband reportedly never acted angry or lashed out, a common aneurysm symptom that Bayer had seen in their friends' husbands who'd also experienced the condition. How does she know so many people that have had brain aneurysms? Nevertheless, life was hard for the Ohioan, who took time off work to care for her husband while he underwent occupational therapy, speech therapy, and physical therapy to try and regain his independence. This proved particularly grueling as Bayer was forced to split her time between tending to Matthias and caring for their 2 children, Sam and Henry. Realizing that she didn't have enough time and energy to devote to both, the stretched-thin gal eventually decided to pull the plug on their marriage. There it is, guys. Women reserve the right to change their minds at any given time, and I'm surprised she's getting any backlash at all. So I guess we are making progress. But if this was a man, this would have been all over the national news. He's lost the ability to express emotion, so it wasn't a very emotional conversation when I told him I wanted a divorce, described Bayer of Untying the Knot. I told him it wasn't the end of our relationship, but the relationship was changing and it was going to be a friendship from now on. Matthias returned to Germany in November to live with family members while the pair finalized the divorce in May. Yikes. Needless to say, Bayer's decision to split with her special needs husband didn't sit well on social media, with critics accusing her of betraying her wedding vows. "Why'd you get married?" exclaimed one critic. "Why make the vow of in sickness and health if you don't mean it? Horrible people, you should be there until the very end you promised. This is the most self-centered person ever," declared another. However, Bayer hit back at critics, claiming it was only strangers who had a bad reaction and that Matthias' family members were on board with her practical decision. He has family members willing to care for him, and Germany is amazing at taking care of people in a medical crisis. Uh, she said she found the criticism ludicrous as her husband needed us most when he first woke up, and we got him back to a very independent date. See all the cope, and she has to justify all this, trying to make it sound better. Guys, this is sad. You have to know that, see, men, we're more likely to stick it out. Men will be at their wife's side when she passes. Okay, but women will not do the same thing. You need to take that into consideration if you ever get sick, especially if you make a lot of money. Your significant other will be out the door. Your wife will be out the door looking for another guy, even if she has 2 kids. He's progressed to a point where we got him as far as we could, and he'd need another level of care, she claimed. And then, how did this get on social media? Why did she post about this? That's the question. She should have kept this off of social media. So Matthias is currently doing very well, according to Bayer. He claims he's not fully recovered, but he's pretty independent now. He's able to walk unassisted and has a lot of speech back in both languages. The American even updated a recent video called with her ex to Instagram, in which Matthias updated viewers on his condition. I guarantee you she did that because she had to minimize all the backlash from what she was getting. The aneurysm survivor demonstrated how he could walk and lift his arms, a task he was reportedly unable to do pre-therapy, and with some difficulty described how he even started lifting weights. When Bayer asked if he thought she was a bad person, Matthias declared, "Of course not, I love you." See, that's what it was for. That's what it was for. Ultimately, Bayer believes that people shouldn't criticize her decision unless they've been in her shoes. To the people who've had a negative reaction, I hope it never happens to you because it's terrible and you just do the best you can. This isn't the first time someone has been accused of leaving her partner during their time of need. Yeah, I already covered another story about a woman who left her husband when she found out that he had cancer. Guys, once again, if you think that your wife is going to be there for you if you get sick, think again. She's going to have one foot out the door. And even if she's there at the beginning, because here's the thing, when you're at the time when you're in the hospital, she gets a lot of attention, all the thoughts and prayers and all that stuff, and even when you first wake up. But after that, man, she's out the door. She's out. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.